Okay. We're starting with the passive voice exercise, and let's have a look at what's gonna happen here. She say over 80 when she died. Okay, so here we need to use the is said to be structure, right? You probably remember this this one. So I always use this one sentence. John is said to be a good man. When we are talking about the present, and John is said to have been a good man when we're talking about the past. Now, is said to be a good man when we're talking about the present, and is said to have been a good man when we're talking about the past. Which means that we need to figure out whether this refers to the future or to the past, and here clearly this is past. So she is said to have been over 80 when she died. Point 2. Some time ago these engines start by hand, now they start them by electricity. So okay, so they were started by hand, right? Some time ago these engines were started by hand. This is some time ago, which is a reference to past simple. Jane, so some time ago these engines were started by hands, now they're started by electricity. Jane need teach how to drive. Okay, so somebody needs to teach Jane how to drive. So if somebody needs to teach her, when we do the passive, we start with the Jane. So Jane needs to be taught how to drive. Jane needs to be taught how to drive. How many people employ in this factory since October? Now we need to figure out first which tense we want to use here. We are talking, this is October, so this is the past, and then since that time until now a number of people have been employed. Okay, so since it's from the past until now, we want to use present perfect. So how many people have been employed in this factory since October? That would be the present perfect answer to this question. Sam, not remember, tell about the conference. Okay, so I see two answers here. We need to pick one, or I will show you both of my answers that I think could be okay. Okay, so Sam okay, so Sam doesn't remember being told about the conference would be one answer. Yeah, since well, we could say Sam doesn't remember. We cannot say Sam doesn't remember telling, because that would be active voice. So we're stuck with passive voice here. So yeah, Sam doesn't remember being told about the conference is it's probably the best way to go here. Okay, yeah, that's the passive answer, and doesn't remember. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything else really. The other one that I thought of was active voice, so we need passive voice here. So Sam doesn't remember being told about the conference. Sam doesn't remember having been told about the conference would be another one, because we would use perfect gerund here, but the first one is easier and quicker and better. So far he not make confess robbery. So far we have the verb make, so we already know that somewhere here we will need to think about using the made to, right? Made to, because make in the active voice takes just the per infinitive, but in the passive voice make will take to, so made to will be somewhere in the sentence. So far he wasn't made to confess to so far he wasn't made to confess to the robbery or to committing the robbery. That's my answer. That's what I would do here. Okay, maybe since we are using so far, I would probably use the present perfect tense, not necessarily past simple. Maybe in American English you would use past simple, but we want to stick to the rule. So far, this convincing started in the past. It started here, and it hasn't happened until now, so probably we want to use present perfect. So he hasn't been made to confess to the robbery. Okay, so present perfect. Let's stick with present perfect here, and let's do the remaining part of this exercise. Okay, let's do point 7. All her best jewelry steal before the police arrived. Okay, before the police arrived, which already means that we wanna use past perfect in this example. So this is where the police arrived, and this is where the jewelry had been stolen. Okay, it had been stolen. Oh, sorry for the squiggles. It's hard to write. So had been stolen is here. That's the past perfect. And this is past simple where the police arrived. So by the time the police arrived, the jewelry had been stolen. Past perfect. Arrived is past simple. Had been stolen is past perfect. All her jewelry, all her best jewelry had been stolen before the police arrived. Point 8. He now make a lot of money these days. Okay, so we're getting back to the John is said to be a good man. So is known to is the present form, is known to have is the past form. So let's think about whether we want to use past form or the present form. It's these days, so we are picking the present form, which is known to. So he is known to make a lot of money these days. We take the third form from the table, right? Third form from the table, the past participle form. He is known to make a lot of money. Point 9. A different attitude have to adopt in the next few years, and that's a question. Okay, so if it's a question, we need to ask. We need to use inversion probably here, and we're asking about some future event, and we are not sure about whether it will happen or not. So let's use future simple. Will a new attitude have to be adopted in the next few years? So we're using future simple here, and we're forming a passive construction. So will have to be adopted. Will a new attitude have to be adopted in the next few years? Will a new attitude have to be adopted in the next few years? And point 10. I had to wait when I went to the garage as my car. Okay, somebody was doing it for me. Somebody was servicing my car, but somebody was doing it for me, and here in this case we want to use the have something done structure. So I had to wait when I went to the garage as my car was being serviced. My car was being serviced. Okay, so this is, well, you can use the have something done structure as well. So this is just regular past continuous, but you can say I had to wait when I went to the garage as I was having my car serviced. Okay, have something done, and that was my first thought, because I was having my car serviced is something I would naturally put in here. As I was having my car serviced, or my car was being serviced. Both are passive forms. One is past continuous, and one is past continuous with the having have something done structure. And both are correct. Which brings us to the end of exercise 2, and in a moment we'll have a look at exercise 3 and and then that's going to be a quick one. Okay, this is a quick one, so I think let's do it now, and then we're going to look at the longer one. We're going to look at exercise 4, which is a bit more difficult. So unless, how many exercises do we have? Oh wait, there's one more, so let's do this one as well. It's forbidden to sound the alarm without any reason. If we're talking about some prohibition, we want to use them. You mustn't, right? So you mustn't sound the alarm without any reason. It wasn't necessary for Tom to go to work because it was Sunday. Tom didn't have to go to work, right? He didn't have to because it was Sunday. So he didn't go and he didn't have to. If he did it, then we would say needn't have, but he didn't go there, right? Because he knew it was Sunday, probably. Everybody knows it's Sunday when it's Sunday. Point 3. It's impossible that she was trying hard enough. Well, if it's impossible and we're very certain about it, as you probably remember from our handout, we should use can't have or couldn't have. So she can't have tried hard enough. She can't have been trying hard enough. I think that's even better because she was trying. So we want to say she can't have been trying hard enough. Okay, she can't have been trying hard enough. I'm certain they are working together. They must be working together. That one is pretty easy. And number 5, they managed to get to the theater in time despite heavy traffic. Okay, they managed to get to the theater in time despite the heavy traffic. Well, they did it. So, and we are not expressing any probability. So may, might, and all the other ones are kind of not the option. So the only thing that we're left with is they were able to. So they were able to get to the theater and despite the heavy traffic. And that's the end of exercise 3. We're going to be back in a second with the conditionals, and for this one we're going to use our table. So we're going to be explaining a lot of things using our table as well. Okay, great. Can't wait. So I'll be back with you in a second.